Hi, it's Renata here. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel, The Quant Girl, where we are going to talk about some topics in applied mathematics, in pure mathematics, in quantitative finance, and in Python program, because I'm a PhD in mathematics and a financial quantitative analyst, and I'm here to share with you some of my experience. Today, we are going to talk about risk measures. As a starting point for our conversation today, I have a question for you. What qualities a good risk measure should have? If you wanted to know the answer, just keep watching the video because we are going to talk about it. In 1999, Philip Artitzner and a group of colleagues proposed a set of axioms that any logical risk measure should follow. They termed a risk measure that obeyed all these axioms as a coherent risk measure. A widely used risk measure is value at risk, but as we will see today, despite VAR has a number of attractive qualities, it's not a coherent risk measure. We have four axioms that a coherent risk measure must obey: monotonicity, positive homogeneity, translation invariance, and subadditivity. We are going to consider each one of them in the next. Let's start talking about monotonicity. Suppose we have two portfolios, portfolio A and portfolio B, and consider two situations. In the first situation, portfolio A loses more money than portfolio B in all possible scenarios, and then portfolio A is considered riskier than portfolio B. In the second situation, suppose portfolio A loses the same amount of money as portfolio B in all possible scenarios, except one where portfolio B loses more money than portfolio A. In this case, portfolio A is also considered riskier than portfolio B. A risk measure that obeys this property is said to be monotonic. So now that you know what is a monotonic risk measure, you can ask me, could you give me an example of a well-known risk measure that is monotonic? And I say, yes, we have a widely used risk measure that is monotonic, the value at risk measure. And how could you explain that it is monotonic? So let's build an example to illustrate it. As we just talked, let's suppose again that our portfolio A loses more money than portfolio B in all possible scenarios. In order to calculate the VAR for portfolio B, we find the least worst of the worst 5% of scenarios for portfolio B. As portfolio A loses more money than portfolio B in all possible scenarios, we have guaranteed that VAR for portfolio A is greater than the VAR for portfolio B. In the other scenarios, VAR cannot make portfolio A better, only worse. So VAR correctly identify portfolio A is being riskier than portfolio B. Now that we already know that VAR is a monotonic risk measure, you could ask me, could you give me an example of a widely used risk measure that is not monotonic? And I say, yes, Standard deviation is a widely used risk measure that is not monotonic. And why? It's because adding a constant to a random variable doesn't change its standard deviation. To illustrate it and make it clear, suppose again that our portfolio A loses 5% more money than portfolio B in all possible scenarios. So, the mean for portfolio A will be 5% less than the mean for portfolio B, but the distance from the mean will be the same in each scenario. And from this, we have that the standard deviation for portfolio A and portfolio B will be the same. Even if portfolio A loses more money than portfolio B in all possible scenarios, their standard deviation will be the same. If you are not yet convinced about the non-monotonicity of standard deviation, I can give you another example, but now in terms of returns. So suppose our portfolio A returns is minus 1% in all possible scenarios, and the portfolio B returns is also minus 1% in all possible scenarios, except in one where it is 5%. So portfolio B is surely a better investment, but its standard deviation is not zero, and the portfolio A standard deviation is zero. An interesting and important point is that you should ask yourself why an investor would invest in a portfolio that performs the same or worse than another potential portfolio. Moreover, in a complete market where arbitrage is possible, these worse portfolios should not even exist. This brings a point here. While monotonicity makes a lot of sense logically, its practical implications are much less clear. Now let's talk about positive homogeneity. Suppose you double all the positions in your portfolio. The bad thing in doing this is that your portfolio will be obviously twice risky. But the good thing is, of course, that the returns in all possible scenarios will also be doubled. Generalizing, if you multiply all outcomes by a constant c and the associated risk measure is c times as great, then the risk measure is said to display positive homogeneity. If you increase the size of all positions in a portfolio by 20 times, then the portfolio will make or lose 20 times as much in all possible scenarios. It looks reasonable that a risk manager would judge the new portfolio to be 20 times as risky as the original portfolio. A good exercise that I propose to you is to prove that VAR and standard deviation display both positive homogeneity. We are going to talk about this exercise in some video in the future, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel in order to watch this video. Now let's talk about translation invariance. A portfolio composed only by risk-free assets has zero risk. Adding or subtracting risk-free assets to a portfolio should not change the risk of the portfolio. A risk measure that does not change by the addition or subtraction of a risk-free asset is said to be translation invariant. A good exercise is to prove that value at risk, VAR, and standard deviation are both translation invariant risk measures. We are going to talk about this exercise in some video in the future, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel to know when this video comes. Now, let's talk about subjectivity. In finance, more specifically in a portfolio of assets, diversification is a good thing. If you diversify the assets in your portfolio, you spread the risk across different types of assets, which is a good thing. Well, subjectivity is just a fancy way of saying that a good risk measure should reflect the fact that diversification is a good thing. To make things more clear, suppose our risk measure is a function f that takes as input a random variable representing an asset or a portfolio of assets. If we have two risky portfolios, X and Y, F is said subjective if F applied to the sum of the two portfolios, X plus Y, is less than or equal to F applied in the X portfolio individually plus F applied to the Y portfolio individually. In other words, the risk of the diversified portfolio X plus Y is less than or equal to the sum of the risks of the individual portfolios. An exercise here is to prove that standard deviation is a subjective risk measure and to show an example where value at risk var violates the property of subjectivity. That's all for today. Hope you like the video. Don't forget to hit the like button because it helps me a lot. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can watch the next videos. So, see you next time in the next video. Bye!